Okay, so now we have these three state transitions or movement transitions. Not the transitions, actually, like individual movement groups, and we should implement a proper transition in between these movement types. Right? So we have jog. So if I show it to you, this is our jogs movement type, and we have walk, and we have crouch. Right. Now let's add some input actions to make this transition. Okay, so inside the TPS game folder, inside the input, uh, inside the character input actions, let's add two more input actions. So one action for what? So input action. This one is for walk, right? And this is my documentation. Yeah, this is the IA walk input action state, and let's add a trigger called pressed. So if this one is pressed, then this action will be triggered. And similarly, let's add another action called IA crouch, and there as well I'll add a trigger pressed. Okay. And now we have these two input actions which need to be assigned at the input mapping context. So inside the input mapping context, I'll first add IA walk, and for the input I'll make it as left alter keyboard button, right? And let's keep this stuff as it is, and similarly let's add another one for IA crouch, and I'll assign C key for the crouch, right? Yeah, so if I save it, it gives this error saying player mappable key setting must have a valid name. Well, I think we can ignore it for now, because if I save all, it doesn't show me that error. Right? That would be fun. Let's play a test. Yeah, everything works properly. But now we have to consume those input actions from our BP player instance onwards, right? So currently we have set up this input action enhanced input action mapping scheme to here, and we consume the inputs for the camera inputs using this IA look input action, and we consume movement inputs by using IA move input action. Similarly, we have to consume IA walk and IA crouch to make those transitions. Right, so just for testing, I can add a print statement called, maybe this one is walk, and maybe this one is crouch. If I play test and try to trigger the alt key, it printing walk. If I try to print C key, it's printing crouch, which is ideally what we want. Okay, now next thing is basically we have to change the movement type based on this input action. Okay, so for that, for the walk, I'll add a flip flop, and I'll call this call this what TPC locomotion system, right? Let me quickly see here. And there I'll set the moment type. Maybe we can add a helper function instead of manually triggering these variables like this. Maybe it's nice to have a separate setup for moment type. So let's go to the BPC locomotion system, and I'll add a, yeah, I think we have it already. Yeah, set moment type. So let's call that function instead. So let's call set moment type function, and if this one is triggered, first it should be walk, and if it is re-triggered back, it should be jog, right? If I play a test now, yeah, I think it's working, but for the initial step or initial movement type should be jog, right? And if I play the left alter now, you can see it is triggered, right? But I think the velocity and acceleration values are not properly applied, right? So at the set moment type, let's see what we can do, right? So in the set moment type, before calling this one, we have one called set moment config here. We have this set moment config thing. So currently it's been called at the very first event begin play, which is correct, and it's calling at the set rotation mode. But I think instead of calling this one at here, let's cut that thing and move it to the set moment type function itself, right? So whenever we change in the set moment type, it applies this set moment config as well, right? So if I show you now we have jog, and if I switch back to walk mode, now you can see the velocity has been changed. If I jump back to the jog, now the speed has been increased, right? So the movement configs are properly applied. Okay, so the walk movement type is working now. So similarly, let's copy these things and paste it here. And for the IR crouch as well, let's add a flip flop. And for the initial trigger, it should be jump back to the crouch. And if I type it, if I press it again, should go back to the jog state, right? So let's test it again. Yeah, the crouch from jog to crouch and crouch to walk. Let's say if I'm at the walk state and I can still crouch and I jump back to the jog state. Okay, so the transitions are working properly now. But I think this is just a hard-coded value, for instance, just for the testing. But later on, actually, we can move these logics to the, like let's say, inventory items or weapon items, so things like that, then we will have much more dynamic capabilities, right? But for now, just for transition check-ins, I just hard coded these values set here by using flip-flops. But ideally, it should be resolved automatically once we play in the game, right? But for now, I'll add a comment called maybe walk, and here crouch. Okay, so we have walk, crouch, and transitions or movement type transitions like this. Okay, so here the issue I want to point it out is from walk to jog is transition seems fine, right? But it also feels like instantaneous. And the main issue is if I jump to the jog state to crouch state, it doesn't seem realistic. See, the swapping is too much fast, and this should not be the case, right? So maybe in the next tutorial, let's see how we can add proper jog to crouch or walk to crouch transition instead of directly playing that specific animation state. Okay, so thank you. See you there.